say no to an overreaching, overbearing government. So there's real civil liberties concerns. As an educator, I believe that our public schools are really here to help people understand how to protect our free way of life, our constitutional republic, and to stay independent, but they're using the schools, I think, in a very different way with this program. And then my final concern is anyone who's listened to my radio program any length of time or followed sort of my personal journey, I am just now coming back from a 2-year horrific bout of breast cancer. And during that, believe me, I cleaned up my diet. My diet was already pretty clean. I cleaned it up a lot and added exercise, and I pay attention to the water. We have a special water filter. I do everything possible to reduce my exposure to things that could potentially trigger that cancer to come back. And I will say that if I had a daughter attending the school district who was in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, and that would be between the ages of 12 and 17, the last thing in the world I would want would be for an active radio frequency transponder to be hanging between her developing breasts every 45 seconds, irradiating those breasts. So we know, if you look at the research, the jury's out. It's unclear whether that exposure does or does not contribute to breast cancer. Studies on both sides, very compelling evidence on both sides that it's safe, that it's not. The reality is we don't know. And I really hate the idea that San Antonio school kids would be the guinea pigs trying to find the answer to that question. So we've got health issues, we've got security issues, we certainly have privacy and civil liberties issues, and if we can get into how the technology works and other things about it a little bit later, but I at least wanted to give you that overview. And the one thing that Mike Wade did explain to me is that the reader devices for this technology are every 100 feet in the ceiling. All the reader devices need to pick these signals up is simply to be plugged into a computer. And what that means is that once they start a program like this, you know, you can't turn these things off, they're on all the time. You could start putting those readers anywhere. You could put those readers in the lampposts. You could put those readers in parking lots. You could put them in Walmart. You could put them anywhere. And the real question is, how do you get the tags onto the people? So if you mandate it on children, then it's really just a question of who wants to set up a reader who would be able to read that. So it creates the potential for San Antonio to really become a centralized hub of companies that would like to experiment with this technology for their own purposes. So with that, I'll say thank you, and I will be happy to answer questions when the time comes.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I would like to introduce to you next, and again, we do hear Matt Simpson with the American Civil Liberties Union is en route. But I would like to introduce to you Dr. Laura Presley. She studied chemistry for her graduate degree at the University of Texas at Austin, and is a small business owner and a public health advocate. And just I'll tell you this, she was the one who gave me the different water. Before I sat down, she swapped out our water. So just a brief little bio about Dr. Presley. Having been negatively impacted by the new smart meter installed in her home, Dr. Presley had done extensive research on the effect of radio frequency on the human body, and she is here right now to share her experience. Please help welcome Dr. Laura Presley.
I'm a little shorter. Thank you. Hi everybody, I am Dr. Laura Presley, and I got my PhD in chemistry from the University of Texas at Austin, and I spent 17 years in the semiconductor industry in Austin, working at Motorola and Advanced Micro Devices. I've designed these chips, and I have improved their yields. I have managed teams in Malaysia, China, and Austin, and I know about this technology very, very intimately. What I want to do is talk a little bit about the health effects that this radiation causes. As you were just told, I have had really negative experiences with my smart meter at my home. Our smart meters in Austin, I don't know about San Antonio, but they send a signal every 25 seconds, and the power density of that signal is huge. It's over 2,000 microwatts per meter squared. What was happening to me every 25 seconds, my skin would twitch like this. I could feel it. My legs and my muscles would twitch every 25 seconds. This went on for over a year, and and my husband, same thing was occurring with him. And we never knew what it was. We were just kind of joking with each other. Oh, last night after you went to sleep, your leg was twitching every 25 seconds. Then he would say back to me, well, last night your leg was twitching every 25 seconds. And we just thought this was funny. We didn't understand what was really going on until I have an autoimmune disease, so I'm ultra sensitive to a lot of different stimuli. And I couldn't sleep. I could feel every 25 seconds my face vibrating and my legs, muscles twitching. And it became so prominent that I couldn't sleep at night. And so we started researching what environmentally is being emitted every 25 seconds. I'm a chemist, I have a PhD in chemistry and physics, and I better be able to figure this out, and we did. It was our smart meter. And we actually borrowed an analyzer that would measure the pulses, and we found out our meter was doing that every 25 seconds, and nothing else in our house was doing it. So we had the root cause. We've worked with Austin Energy, and I'm going to be here to say that Austin Energy will probably be the first opt-out program in the state of Texas. The Public Utility Commission here in the state has recognized the health effects of these radio frequency pulses. Even the PUC, which is this mountain that we have tried to move here in the state. TAG has testified, I've testified, we have state reps that have testified on the health issues of these RF pulses. Austin Energy, we've worked with them for the last 4 months, myself and my husband, we kept going up the chain, and they're going to implement an opt-out program coming in April, most likely April. So that's okay. San Antonio will have to do it also because the PUC is doing it for the state. So San Antonio, when it happens, you guys need to opt out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just can't take it anymore. I can't take it. So I have a PowerPoint I want to go through very quickly. And what I've done is I've done some research on the health effects of radio frequency signals. There's a study that was published in 2012, and it's by the Bio-Initiative Report. And they came out with this outstanding summary of all the research that's been done in the last 20 or so years on radio frequencies and the health effects. And they summarize them by power density. And this is the issue. Think of these radiation signals hitting you, and think of it as maybe a baseball, or let's say a marble coming at you. One marble comes at you, it's probably not a big deal, but if 1 million are coming at you, that's a big deal. You're going to get hurt, even if they're little marbles. And that's what the term power density is. The amount of power and the density of that power hitting people. And that's the key of understanding the health effects and what that power density drives from a health standpoint. This report that was done in 2012, I've got a PowerPoint. Let me show you. What I did, this is the first page here. You can see it. It may be a little bit difficult to see. Is an FCC document that says what's the maximum power density that we as human beings can be exposed. And I want you to note, Federal Communications Commission, FCC. It's not the Federal Protect the People from Radiation Commission. It's the Federal Communications Commission. Their limits are so huge you could drive a bus through them. And that allows the industry to do what the heck they want to do. All right? The limits are huge and they're ridiculous. But my point was showing this is I tried to call Wade Garcia and Associates, who are the suppliers of these chips and these readers for the school. And I asked them today, I said, may I speak with an engineer? We don't have engineers. I was in shock. You're providing this product and you don't understand the technical specs of what's happening with this product. So I went round and round with this guy. His name is Ringo, and he had no clue what I was asking for. I said, I want to know the power density that's going to be emitted with these readers and also the chips. He had no answer. And so I said, well, who is the manufacturer? And the manufacturer is called Microchip. That's the company, so I went on their website and looked at their specs. So out of their specs, they don't even document the power density, because once you know the power density, you can go to a lot of different references and decide what the health effects of that power density is going to be. They don't document the power density. But I went back and forth on their specs, and this is the best thing I could find, that it would be, and this is documentation from their specs. It says, the passive tag is remotely powered by the reader's RF signal. It deals with very small power, approximately microwatts. Okay, well that helps me because that's not good. That's not a good unit. So I went back and calculated, based on what they did have in their documents, that their power density is 0.16 microwatts per centimeter squared. And I know that's a bunch of garbled, jumbled stuff, but I'm going to show you some numbers. What health effects that power density causes. Okay? So, 0.16, keep that in your mind. Oh, you can't see it, dang it. Well, I will read it to you. All right, there was a study in 2010 that, and I will read it, reported that children and adolescents 8 to 17 years old with short-term exposure to base station level RF radiation, they experience headaches, irritation, concentration difficulties in school. And those are at levels of 0.003 microwatts per centimeter squared, and they're sitting at 0.16. We're talking orders of magnitude higher than what a study showed in 2010 to be affecting children between 8 and 17 years old. All right, it gives me chills. It absolutely gives me chills. There was another study, because science always is really good when you can reproduce it with another researcher down the road using the same kind of information and see if you get the same results. Again, in 2010. So there's two studies, this one and this one. In 2010, Thomas and others reported that these radiation levels of 0.003 resulted in conduct and behavioral problems in children. Orders of magnitude lower than what these devices are going to emit. That should scare us to death. Who are the students in the audience? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Thank you for being here. And who are the students' parents that are here? Wonderful. I want to tell you how we appreciate you guys showing up and being brave enough to ask questions. Okay. Now, the next page of this that you can't see, I apologize. Yes, so here we go. As we increase in power density, right, what are the health effects? So these ones I've marked here. At 0.16, which is what I estimate based on the data that they do provide on the power density of these devices, it says 0.16 microwatts per centimeter squared. You have motor function, memory, and attention of school children being affected. 0.16. At about 0.2, if you round up 0.16 to 0.2, the radio frequency causes a 2-fold increase in leukemia in children. 2-fold increase in leukemia in children.